Transformers had a huge influence on my life as a kid, growing up. I used to sit down with my buddies in lunch hour, and we'd draw our Transformers and ideas, and we used to talk about which Transformers we wanted to send to Hasbro. But we always had this idea of making these different ideas of Transformers and writing them in a piece of paper and then sending them to Hasbro to make. I used to love doing that, and we never did. We never sent them. But we used to draw them, and we used to make them, and they were really detailed. I wish I had those copies I could show you. We never actually did send them to Hasbro. Not that they probably would have made them, but, as a kid, you just did. Maybe if we just make it. If you make it, they will build it. Everything was joyful. Everything was pleasant in Transformers land until 1986. 1986 was the year of the Fallen. That's right. It was the year where all your hopes and dreams come crashing down. A la Last Jedi. That's the year the Transformers movie came out. The original cartoon movie. And I was so looking forward to seeing that movie. I remember when it came out. Oh my god, it's a Transformers movie. I can't wait to see Optimus Prime and all my heroes on the big screen, and I wonder what new characters they're going to include, and all the grid effects and all the great, it's just going to be larger and cooler. And then you get there and the first 40 minutes of the movie and everybody dies. No joke. They killed almost every single one of my characters, my beloved characters. My whole childhood just went, what the hell is this? Who the hell do you think you are? He just destroyed Optimus Prime. I cried. Well, my mom cried. Even my mother never watched the Transformers and she cried, watching Optimus Prime. Just, do not mourn for me. What do you mean? You're dying. You're my hero. You're sitting there, you're all mangled and turning gray and whatnot. It was a horrible, horrible thing to go through in the theater. Why did they do that? Why did they kill all my best friends? I pretend I come home from school and watch the Transformers and just kill them all. You left the theater emotionally scarred as a child, and then you find out it was a real cynical dick move by your mistress. That's right, the mistress. That's why I call her a succubus, because she comes out there, she'll stab you. She'll try and stab you with this hand, and then she loves you and embraces you with this hand. Come to me, my darling. Come to me, Hasbro loves you, and she's stabbing you and loving you at the same time. Stabbing you in the back and hugging you. And you're like, why would you do that to me? Then I found out that Mr. Burns is the one that runs Hasbro. I'm tired of all these crazy Transformers. They're not silly enough. What do I think we should do, sir? I think we should kill them all off. And don't you think kids will be offended and hurt, sir? I don't care about kids. I care about profits. That's all I care about. Excellent. Alright, sir. We'll kill off Optimus Prime and replace him with new, uglier, weirder-looking Transformers. But people's appeal were the fact they look like actual vehicles, sir. I don't care about that. We'll make them look like space vehicles. Kids won't like that, sir. I'm Monty Burns, owner of Hasbro, and I tell kids what to like. Well, okay, sir. And then I'll release the hounds. He had to be Monty Burns, because he's even more evil than Mickey Mouse. Even Mickey will be like, I'm not going that far. Sure, I'll kill a couple of them. Well, I'm not going to kill the whole bloody thing in one movie. I have a little heart. Kill them all and don't care. That's what he did. All my toys, I went home and they were all junk at that point. He was like, I can't play with them anymore. They're all dead. At least they listened to us afterwards and brought back Optimus Prime at the end of season 3. But, up until that point, I had a very, I still watched the show because I loved it, and, you're a kid, and you kind of shrug things off a lot easier when you're a kid. You just like Luke Skywalker. You just sort of brush it off a little bit and do something. There was so much happening in the 80s, too, because you had He-Man and Thundercats and all these, really cool cartoons, and it was almost like ADD of toys. Like, oh my god, what's new? Oh my god, what's this? Oh, and so you didn't linger too long on it. At least I didn't. It bothered me. I eventually got over it to the point where, I started to actually I first resented the new characters. New characters such as Rodimus Prime, the guy who replaced my beloved Optimus Prime, and was kind of emo the whole time he was the new leader. In the movie, what happens is Optimus Prime has this epic battle Megatron, and they both kill each other. And it was a really good fight. I mean, you look back in the movie, and it was well made, well produced. I mean, the soundtrack was really awesome, and you can't really hate the movie because the movie was good. It's just that they killed everybody. It kind of left a sour taste in your mouth. It was a love-hate thing, you know. And they gave you some fun characters here and there, right? And they kept Grimlock, one of my favorite guys. Me Grimlock no die in movie. Me Grimlock too strong. So they replaced him with Rodimus, who, you know, was this hot rod race car, and it was all in the future. So these vehicles kind of looked futuristic. And then he took the Matrix from Optimus, gave the Matrix to Ultra Magnus, who was another white truck, who I always thought was Optimus's brother, but apparently they weren't. I don't know. Maybe they're brothers. I don't know. But he gave it to him, and it didn't fit properly. He kept trying to put it in, and it didn't fit. And then afterwards, in the final battle with Unicron, which is a big planet-eating planet, transforms into a really cool giant winged robot. Really cool. It's voiced by Orson Welles. Very grumpy planet. So when Optimus dies, he also ends up mortally wounding Megatron at the same time. Starscream then takes the reins. I am now the new leader. And then kicks Megatron out the ship, and then Megatron floats to floats to Unicron. Unicron then turns him into Galvatron, another powerful thing, and the promise of destroying the Matrix, which is the only thing to kill him. And there's your plot. Yeah, so at some point in that battle between Galvatron and Hot Rod, he opened up the Matrix of Power, and then suddenly rock music played. Galvatron's punching him out, you know, ready to kill him. And then suddenly he gets this inner strength and pulls out the Matrix and holding the Matrix, and they're fighting for the Matrix. And then Rodimus opens up the Matrix, and then suddenly light flashes out, and then rock music starts playing. You got the touch! Bow, bow, bow. You got the power! I just love that song. You got the touch! Damn, damn. And then he grows, and he goes from Hot Rod to Rodimus Prime. And he easily defeats Galvatron by throwing him out into space. And the power and the rock music power coming out of the Matrix of leadership destroys Unicron in this big Star Wars-esque explosion of the Death Star. His head flies and goes flying off. Like I said, it was a fun movie. It was a fun, you know, had space battles and stuff. They just killed off all my characters, Mr. Burns. Thank you for that. I don't care what you think about me. I'll do it again. I don't care about kids. I only care about profits. I mean, it was cool what happened in the movie, but it still left me sort of with a bad taste. And it took a while for me to warm up to this guy. In the cartoon in the third season, I watched, not with the same interest as I did in the first two seasons of Transformers, and it started to lose me towards the end. The Transformers toys got crappier. They weren't made as well. The transformations weren't as appealing because they didn't look like real vehicles. And that was, for me, one of the biggest appealing things was it looked like a real vehicle, and they started looking like weird futuristic things that it didn't appeal to me, and they really dropped the ball on it and just started to fade out at that point. But I gave this guy a chance, and I started to like him towards the end. But I'm extremely grateful that they brought back Optimus, because the only problem with him is he was all emo all the time. He was just always like, I'm not as good as Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime was a better leader than me. And you're just like, yes, he was. Why did they kill him? Dumbasses. Well, you're good. You're a good leader, aren't you? I'm not as good as Optimus. No, you're not. And you shouldn't actually be a leader. He had no experience. He was too young. And the Matrix made a mistake. Now, open it and see what it looks like. Unwrap this. Unwrap 30 years of pain. Time to unwrap 30 years of anguish, pain. Rodimus was one of those toys when I was a kid that my friends did have and liked, and I actually thought he looked cool. His look, and as much as I didn't like what happened in the movie, this Transformer, this look, this color combination, I don't know what it is. It still holds a sort of like nostalgic feeling for me, you know. It gives me the good time feelies. And that's why I wanted this. Because regardless of how much I hated him for what he represented, not for him as a character, he was a good character, it's just what he represented to me. I kind of resented for a long time and got over it since then. And now it still holds special meaning to me. For a moment, you know, you can have things that mean something that are not always represented by good things. They could always be also be represented by bad things. 1986 was a particularly hard year for. I mean, kind of a good year and bad year at the same time. It had like half the year was really good, but also half the year was bad. I mean, my parents got separated. We got a house for the first time. We lived in an apartment my whole life, and finally could afford a house, and we bought a house. My family, but my parents bought a house, and bought me new toys all the time, and we were kind of like, yay, we're finally not poor. And then suddenly my parents said, by the way, you're going to go to Portugal for a month. That's right, guys, I'm Portuguese. My background is, go visit your grandma, your vovó, that's what we call them, and we're going to go visit our grandparents, and when I come back, everything has changed, right? My parents decided to give me this little speech about, we love you guys, and we know this isn't about you, this is about us, and we just don't love each other anymore, and we're gonna separate. I was like, what? Huh? We just bought a new house, and everything was good. I had my own room for the first time, because I had to share a room with my brother all these years, in the smell of sweaty socks. He had to put up with this, with me poking every morning like a dumbass. You know, finally we had our own rooms, and then suddenly it was like, oh, by the way, remember, did you enjoy this brief stint of having some money? Here's a divorce. And as a kid, I don't know much about the finances of the situation. I just know that, we bought a house, so we were doing a little better. And we were going to trips, and we were buying toys and stuff at random. Because I remember one of the things that happened also like earlier that year, just to kind of further the point, I remember there was a consumer's guide, like a Sears guide book that we had, and I circled toys that I wanted for Christmas. Hopefully Santa would bring them. Right? You'd circle them, and hopefully Santa would sneak into my room and just not do perverted things, let's hope. Ho, ho, ho. Those are some good cookies. There goes another childhood. You kind of circle them in hopes that, maybe someone would see it and get you something. And I remember my mom felt bad for me one time, and this is something that we never did, because we never had a lot of money, so it was always, you'd ask for something from my dad. Can I have that, Daddy? I love that toy. And, oh yeah, sure, yeah, hold on, here, let me get some money out of my ass. That used to piss me right off, and then, oh, well, sorry, I guess I don't have money coming out of my butt. Yeah, so my mom saw me once falling asleep, drooled on my mouth with the consumer, like sleeping on the consumer's toy guide, and I had circled the toy that I wanted, and then when I woke up that morning to that toy, and it was sitting on my bed, and this was early 1985, 86. It was not even Christmas, it was just, or my birthday, it was just they got it for me, because they felt sorry for me. I don't know, my brother got something too, and I thought this was the coolest thing ever. It was Superion, and it was all of them combiner. It was one of the first Autobot combiner transformer. I have them somewhere there. Yeah, and I just remember that was awesome. Things were looking good, man. And then the start of the Transformers movie was like an omen, man. 'Cause then my parents sat us down and said, we're gonna get divorced, and we're gonna have to sell the house, and we're gonna move in with my grandmother, and it was kind of a bummer. 1986 it was like an up and down year, and a lot of memories from that year. And Rodimus Prime was almost like a symbol of that year, because, to have all your toys, all your heroes also die at the same time that year, that this is going on, means something, and it's symbolically. So this character, that's what he means to me. 1986, it was sort of, it's not necessarily good memory, but even bad memories are still memories, and you should cherish them all. All these memories are what makes you who you are, right? These things that you endure in your life, these things that you go through, that you come out of. After that, I started developing a sleep problem, insomniac. Well, at least that's what the psychiatrists tell me. I'm dubious about it, but they say that dating back to all the years fit, that's when you started not sleeping as well as you should. I don't still believe that, but I'm not a psychologist yet. That's what 1986 and the Transformers movie meant to me, and that's why I still collect them. I mean, they meant so much to me, and there was a lot of memories associated with them. Let me put him over here. He's really cool looking, by the way. Way bigger than the original. Yeah, and so Transformers sort of fizzled out for a long time afterwards and died, and I moved on to other things, other toys and other experiences, and for a long time Transformers kind of vanished. I mean, they did come out with Beast Wars, and then they came out with More Than Meets the Eye. I think it was his first anime series that they came out with. And it was really good, and it kind of rekindled my love for it. But then when I heard that Hasbro that they were coming out with the Transformers live action movie, I was like, woohoo!
You got the touch. You got the power.